launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. As promised, we're kicking off the show today with a bombshell update from Breon Ansley, who announced recently that this would be his last year competing in Classic. As the two-time Mr. Olympia champ and someone who is without question one of the people who is most responsible for building this division into what it is today, I'm sure this had to be a tough decision. With that being said, when you look at the progression of his physique and the weight limits they have in this division, it's hard to see a path for him to ever regain the title, considering how much he has to cut down to compete here. At this point, it seems like a logical move for him to transition into the 212, which is a beast of a division in its own right. But if you've become a fan of Breon's over the last few years of classic physique, you better enjoy these next few months, because we're about to witness the end of an era. We've got another big update coming your way today from a friend of the show, Regan Grimes. After 2 solid performances at the Arnold and the Boston Pro to start off the year, Regan and his team decided the best thing for him to do right now was to shut everything down so he can take the next few months to add size and make improvements to prep for the Olympia. Now, as I'm sure you all remember, heading into the Arnold, there was a small contingent of people who saw Regan as a dark horse contender for the title. But the reality of the situation was that he just didn't have enough size to compete with the bigger guys in the lineup. But if he can be strategic with what he does over the next few months, it could pay huge dividends in the long run, especially if he ends up cracking the top 10 when this is all said and done. To say that a 130-pound dumbbell is light feels like a little bit of an oxymoron. But when you see someone like Nick Walker tossing around 130s for reps on his shoulder presses, it definitely gives you those old school Ronnie Coleman lightweight vibes. As you can see in this video, Nick has been continuing his assault on the offseason, which only amped up the whole "can Nick win the Olympia" talk that we started to hear back in December. Now, whether or not that's justified at this point is another story for another day. But that has nothing to do with the fact that he's earned the right to be called one of the biggest stars in bodybuilding. And until this rocket ship stops shooting straight up into the atmosphere, everything he does is going to be headline news. If you missed the show last Friday, we broke the story about Justin Rodriguez's announcement that he was planning to come back and defend his Indy Pro title in a few weeks, which is a big deal in and of itself. But now it looks like he's decided to add another stop to his 2022 World Tour to the New York Pro, where I'm sure he'll be looking to come back and avenge last year's second place finish. We talked about how impressive Justin has been all year long last week, and all of that still stands. But the fact that he's willing to keep putting himself out there like this speaks volumes about where his mindset is right now. He's completely locked in, and you can all see that reflected in everything he does. So if he rips off a win in Indy, it'll be hard to imagine anyone coming in with enough firepower to slow him down when he comes storming into New York a few days later. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.